Good evening, everybody. It's November 8th, 2025, and it's 10:01 p.m. I'm going to have to walk away from the screen for a little while, so that's why I'm playing this copyright-free music for creators and streamers by the Relaxed Movement on YouTube. 12 hours of free background music, copyright-free. Hi, con artists. Welcome, welcome. I'm playing some music in the background because I have to walk away from my screen for a little while to go look at the cats. I was creating another video and I realized how long it was going to take me. Hi, Max. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. So this copyright-free music comes with a couple of advertisements. So I just had to skip one. Hi, River Bluff. Welcome. I'm going to walk away from the screen just for a few minutes to check in on the cats because I didn't have a chance to do that in the last hour. I just have to make sure that they've got some heat on because it's getting cold here at night, and their building is not insulated the way my house is, so it gets really cold in there quickly. So just remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in, and I will be back in about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. You can have a conversation amongst yourself. I will be right back, guys. And remember to hit the thumbs up.
I went from a kid who was a home cook to someone who works in actual big businesses who knows how to do things that people who go to college for. I don't think I would have got this opportunity anywhere else.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you for being patient, guys. I had to take care of the kitties. Hi, Kevin. Welcome. SDL. Amy. Elsie. Welcome. Welcome. Let's see. Who did I miss? Linda. River Bluff. Let's see who else I missed here. Tasha. Welcome. Welcome. Lori. Welcome. Carrie. Welcome. Yeah, they get all the street peeps. They get all excited on the weekends, right? I had to go into the Cats building to make sure that the heat turned on. I put it on what do you call it? A delayed turn on. And sometimes the criminals like to turn it off. And so their building gets very cold at night. It doesn't have the kind of insulation that my house has, and it's 49 degrees here. So it gets pretty cold in there. Let's see, we got time, and this one is short about how morals adjust by necessity. It's a British term, okay. Another British term is bangers and mash. I don't know what that is. Oh, sausages with mashed potatoes. The music is like 1990s industrial techno. Yeah, and as I was going into the Cats building, Zumi was at the front door. So Zumi's in here hanging out. He's asleep by the window. Oh my. A perp attacked you at Avalon saying AI writes my stuff. I provided recorded edits made at WordPress, and the owner operator of the site tested it with a site that exposes this stuff, and I passed. Well, good for you. Oh, yeah, it's nonstop nonsense. I mean, I had a perp purchase something on my eBay account today. They just opened up the account, purchased something that, you know, it's just unbelievable. It's nonstop. Yeah, Zumi is in here. He realizes that it's gotten colder, so he's waiting by the door. But he's actually afraid of the raccoons and the possums. So there was a possum on the porch, and this was a huge possum. And the possum's been eating all the eggs that I put out for the fox. So it's really upsetting me. I'm not crazy about possums. And remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. So actually, it says that we're going to get We might get rain later. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing something I don't like. In the forecast for Monday, it says that it could get really cold on Monday, like a high of 34 degrees, and we could have snow. I don't want to see that. I've decided I'm not shoveling snow this year. It eventually melts. It always melts, so it can just stay there. Yeah, I don't want to hear about snow. Somebody else mentioned it on another YouTube channel that we're supposed to get some cold weather coming in. I mean, it is November. Hey, Kevin. Hi, Just Me. Welcome. Welcome to the channel, guys. Hopefully the creepy voice isn't playing in the background. We could ignore that creepy voice. So how's everybody doing? Do you have any new stalking stories or things that you purchased to help combat this nightmare? Any shielding? Canada says, we are everything to them, the perps. We dictate their lives. We hold so much control. It's a matter of learning how to control it, right? Well, they're addicted to us. These are very sick people. I mean, before I became targeted, I have such a busy life. It's always busy. I have no time to pay attention to what other people are doing. And there's something inherently wrong with obsessively wanting to know what another person is doing. Yes, it's an obsession. Well, it becomes an addiction for some. Because what is addiction? Addiction is an obsession and a compulsion. So with addiction, there's a thought, and then there's the act of doing. So addicts, when they're addicted to their drug of choice, they obsess over the wanting of the substance. And then there's the action of obtaining what they're obsessed about. That's a good question, Amy. Amy asked, is there a safe place to move anyone if I can sell, she says. Well, I feel there's from what I've heard, and even ChatGPT says, look, shielding for X-ray and MRI use. Okay, well, I just want to tell you, Carrie, I purchased, and then I'll get back to a safe place to live. A Moo metal for shielding, kind of pricey. It's very pricey. I looked into it. I bought an X-ray shielding apron, and I placed it on the lower part of my body. It's not doing anything. They have implants in my body that they're vibrating, so it's not helping. You left Southwest Florida to East Coast of Florida for a few days of rest. I'm being bombarded with stalkers everywhere. They follow me here. I think that with the economy, that more and more people will be bribed or coerced or unknowingly involved in stalking. Let's see. Riverblood says they don't move with you. There are groups in every city in America. They just assign a new group to watch you. I agree with that. Although I do believe that in some instances, there may be people that actually move with you. I feel like there was one person that moved here to Kentucky from New Jersey. It may have been a private contractor. Private contractors will move around the country. Yeah, the vibrations. I read an article. Actually, I should do a video on this about the vibrations. The vibrations will vibrate the bones in your body, and they can literally cause a misalignment of your vertebrae, of all the skeletal systems in your body. I mean, think of it for a second. Like if you're vibrating something, like I know, like when I want to open up a jar. Hi, City of Fullerton. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Max, I didn't realize you live in Switzerland. Oh, that's so cool. I was getting so many advertisements for Switzerland. It looks so beautiful. Amy, I'm so far out in the country also. But it's a nightmare here. I can't stand living here. And I mean, it's a beautiful property, but they're destroying it. So I need to live on a smaller piece of land with normal people. I mean, at least in New Jersey, I've said it so many times before that my long term neighbors, they just ignored me. They had college degrees, master's degrees, PhDs. So even though they may have went along with whatever narrative it was, they weren't harassing me. They just literally disengaged from me. They had other morons that they moved in to do that. Hi, Joe. Welcome, welcome. You're coming from the laundromat. May everyone keep on striving, surviving, and thriving. Well, I was a little late also, even though I started the chat on time. I had to run into the cats building to make sure the heat was on and scoop some litter. So I was gone for a couple of minutes. So, is there a safe place to move? Um, there are some states that are really kind of off limits. I feel like California, Florida, are and probably Texas are off totally off limits. I mean, and of course, you have to move to a state that you can afford to live in, and depending on your age, you may consider moving to a state where you're not going to be overly taxed. Like here in Jackson County, Kentucky, charging me an extra 14 plus $100 in property taxes where they haven't increased others. And of course, with no notification. So what was being done to me is illegal. It's property tax fraud. In addition to the fact that I heard that in Florida, they're going to be obliterating property taxes altogether because it's really unethical. Do not move to North Carolina, South Carolina. No, I would not move to those states. And interestingly, River Bluff, before I moved to Kentucky, I was researching those areas. I really wanted to move to South Carolina. But not anymore. No. Nope, nope, nope. And I would never move to Mississippi, Louisiana. I really wanted to move to Vermont, but it was too expensive, and the thought of the snow just really turns me off. Oh, Carrie, there are targeted people in Alabama. Eden's Living TV on YouTube. Susan lives in Alabama. I'm not, Alabama is, I guess, a kind of a wide state, so I don't know, how far away you are, and you're in West Tennessee. Tennessee was another state. I know a lot of YouTube creators that are like homesteaders and whatever that live in Tennessee. They live mostly in Eastern Tennessee. Oh, your perps are from Kentucky? Kentucky sucks. That's all I've got to say. I've renamed Kentucky. I never thought that I would feel that way about Kentucky because I was so excited about flying in here. I even took a video of it. It's posted on my channel, and it was just beautiful with the horse farms. And my realtor was driving me all around, and looking at the houses and everything. But I might do a video on the 10 reasons why you should not move to a rural town. I'll just use my prolific examples. Yeah, it is worldwide. It is worldwide, but I've heard from other targeted. Yeah, that's it. Well, It's something like that. River Bluff. The the letters are a little different. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Um, Remember Kentucky. I mean, this is military. This is a military state. Not all states are like gung ho military. Like Maryland, Kentucky. And also in Kentucky, in Louisville, where there was a huge explosion. Yeah, a lot of people are moving off the grid, but I'll tell you, they'll find you off grid. You'll be found off grid. I mean, I literally live in the middle, on the edge of a national forest. I'm surrounded by trees and mountains, wildlife, but the radio frequencies. Hi, Melanie, Faith. Um, exactly. If they will target you regardless of where you live. Like, there are places on my property where when I first moved here were safe places to walk around. But I think what they do is they surveil you to see where are the places that she frequents most on the property, and that's where we're going to target her. So I don't feel a lot of safety in those places. I mean, I can go further back in, like when I'm cleaning my property further back, like towards the woods, I'm not feeling anything. But as soon as I walk back to my house and walk into my house, I feel it immediately. As soon as I walk through my front door, like I feel it. I feel the energy. Welcome to the channel. Remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in because I see that there are 35 people watching and 16 thumbs up. Has anyone found anything that really helps? Well, I can attest to the fact that you should never sleep on a bed with coils. Sleep on a wood frame, like a gel mattress, water bed. Oh, that's so interesting, Connors. Yeah, there is no safe place. There are better places. They're better. And it depends on financially what you can afford because there are some states that are just expensive to live. I mean, I will tell you that when I moved from New Jersey to Kentucky, en route, the tinnitus totally disappeared. Completely disappeared. When I was living in my car for 6 weeks, I'm going to say for the first 3 weeks or whatever, my eating, my sleeping, I was going to sleep at a normal hour, waking up at a normal hour. I felt great. My hair grew back. My eyesight went back to 2020. Like all of the symptoms that I was experiencing in New Jersey, which were not as bad as they are here in Kentucky, reverted back to my normal healthy state. And then as soon as I moved into my house, it was a nightmare. Like they rewired my house, they tore up my floor. My new floor, which was tongue and groove, it's no longer tongue and groove. And then what they did so that it wouldn't tear up the floor or push the wood slots back together, They screwed every one of them down. And it's expensive moving. Yeah, the gel mattress is really comfortable. Um, and a water pillow. I highly recommend a water pillow. It's so comfortable. It cradles your neck, and it does help. And some people suggest getting multiple water pillows and keeping them around you. But when I moved here, I do not have any metal on my bed. It's a gel mattress on a wood frame and a water pillow. And I literally sleep under, I'm going to say like 6 layers of stuff, including a newly purchased radiation apron that appears to do absolutely nothing. Oh, that's interesting, Joe. A woman went out of her way to chat you up, and it turns out she was from a town only 30 miles away from your hometown. Well, Carrie, when you say you're guessing that they think they're above the law protects them because they are, I guess, legally they're called citizen informants. Because they're informants, they're protected under the sheriff's department, the police department. So even when these criminals, and they are criminals, are performing misdemeanors and felonies, nothing's done. The incident reports are falsified or left blank, like here in Jackson County, Kentucky. They claim that the dead animals that are stuffed in my mailbox, it's still under investigation. It's almost a year. I still have not received the incident report. It's blank. They didn't post any of the facts, and they lie. They absolutely lie on the incident reports. They're useless. Yeah, that's right. They sit close to your house in vehicles and hit you with the wet weapons. Well, they do employ drones. You'll see drones, and sometimes the drones only come out when you're asleep because they know that we're watching and we're recording this stuff. Yes, Melanie. Many part of this, and they recruit people who are willing for money or favors. Now, I have to warn you guys. There are some targeted people out there, or targeted um, uh, I can't say it, but who are swayed to the dark side. Hi, Mr. E. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, that's so interesting. They hit you in an enclosed elevator. Elevators, you would think, with all that metal, that it would be a very safe enclosure. I think a lot of it has to do with they infect our environments with the graphene. I see that they spray this disgusting, pithy, powdery, grayish dust in both of my chicken coops. It doesn't matter how much I clean them. The next day, it's the same stuff all over the place. One thing that works sometimes for you is buying aluminum screen from Lowe's and making a barrier around your bed. Well, the targeted person who's no longer with us, Zachos Breedlove Ewing. Now, back in the day, screens on windows used to be made of a metal mesh, but now they're made of some kind of silicone, plasticky kind of mesh. But he recommended getting, yes, the Smart Dust programmable nano dust. That's what it is. He recommended getting the old metal mesh on all of your windows and then link them all together with like a copper wire and that would shield your entire house. I mean, I think you'd have to use like a grounding rod, but you always have to be careful because these criminals, they're watching what you're doing. They know where your grounding rod is, right? They can sabotage it. But he recommended doing that. He recommended, instead of the window screens that they're now using, oh, copper mesh. Yes, that's a good idea. Copper mesh. To use that to guard, to shield your entire house. The drones mimic, yes, they mimic stars. The difference is that stars don't move. Generally, they don't move, but the drones do. You'll see them moving across the sky. And it's so blatant here that, like, when I wake up in the morning, go outside, like, I will hear in the sky the sound of aerial stalking, a copter, a plane, but you can't see it. It's there. And then the times when when you do see it and you try to photograph it, it's like it's got this technology that prevents you from photographing it. Absolutely. They banned lead from paint. Oh, the plane crash was in Louisville, which is probably 3 hours, maybe more, 3.5 hours for me. That's more in North Kentucky. The FBI is located there, and the Church of Satan, the big one that was relocated from New York City, it's now relocated to Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, it is a great idea for the windows. And another thing, you can buy chicken wire. Some of the chicken wire has various grades of thickness. The thinner chicken wire is easier to maneuver. I mean, it's not that attractive, for a window. But if you place it on the inside, it may help. I don't know. It's just it's just a thought. No, it's not close. But we do have other targeted people living in Louisville. Connie Marshall lives there. It's a very heavily populated part of Kentucky. Yes, the chicken wire. There are various thicknesses of chicken wire. Some is very easy to maneuver, and then some of it is a little more difficult. You'd have to get wire cutters. Yes, and lead was banned from paint. There's nothing wrong with lead-based paint. In fact, the shielding paint that a lot of people can purchase today, which is very, very expensive, that black paint, I guarantee it has lead in it. I know that rubber, very heavy rubber, is helpful. And I purchased some really cheap yoga mats. I'm only using one on my bed, but I could probably like double or triple it up and see if that helps. You can buy a very cheap yoga mat at Five Below for $5 or $6. Buy a couple of them. So there's a rubber yoga mats, and what was the other thing that I was going to mention? Oh yes, baking sheets that you would bake like cookies on. Mylar covering for the windows helps. Space blank. Oh yeah, those mylar. But with that mylar, you need several layers of it. One layer is not going to help you. That's a good idea. Riverblow says, I'm going to paint a football helmet with lead paint and wear it 24/7. I know that some people have taken baseball caps and line the inside of the baseball caps and then use the magnets, like small magnets, and place magnets on the outside and then the inside so that they bind to each other. That becomes problematic. I've tried that and I've lost the magnets, taking it on and off my head. You're yeah. SCL says, I'm sitting on a baking sheet now. the Karen Stewart was the one that recommended the baking sheets to me years ago. I do have a baking sheet on my bed, and I have it inside those bubble wraps, those aluminum bubble wraps. It doesn't appear to be helping me any. I think it's because I've got stuff inside of my body that they're vibrating. Linda says, I go to the Cincinnati City pools in the summer. The entire month of August, I had a drone that would show up and hover over me no matter which pool I went to. It sure looked like a military drone. It probably is. Our tax dollars are hard at work, If the general public really knew how much money was being spent on this program and what they were doing to us, they would be horrified. It's all military funding. It's all secret. It's all classified. It's all BS. The amount of money that the military sucks up is off the charts. I'm on the Department of Defense mailing list, and every day I get a list of contracts that they're funding for this year, for next year, to 2027. So we're all going to be around if there's still funding to 2027. Let's see. Some people swear by wearing copper bracelets that certain health issues can be improved. I was wearing copper bracelets, and you know how many were stolen or intentionally rusted or scratched, etched? These criminals actually etched a triangle in one of my copper bracelets. I really don't want to wear it because they target my things. I don't want to touch the things that they're targeting. Rare earth magnets are known as the neodymium. Yeah, the neodymium. What about a big magnet under pillows? You have to be careful with magnets like under your pillow. You really don't want a lot of magnets around your head, like when you're sleeping, because you can't move. You're not moving while you're asleep. Oh, that's a good idea, River Bluff. I wear a copper headband for 20 minutes a day, and it actually increases energy to the brain. Yes, a lot of those copper bracelets have the little tiny magnets on the ends. Yeah, the copper bracelets with magnets are known to improve the circulation. Let's see, Krista. Hi, welcome, Krista. Lock your favorite things up. I bought a chain link and sturdy lock and lock in a kitchen cabinet. Ridiculous that it has to come to this. I agree. I purchased a copper coffee like thermos online. It arrived in decent condition, and literally in less than 24 hours, these criminals tarnished the inside and outside of it. I ended up throwing it away. I'm not going to drink out of a tarnished copper, you know, thermos. Although it could have been, you know, not a good copper thermos. You know, it may not have been pure copper. Oh, tourmaline. Yes, I've heard that as well. Conrad says, look at brain cancer radiotherapy. Many of the patients' brains fall apart from the treatment. I believe that. I believe that a lot of the radiation and chemotherapy and all of that is it's just very harmful. And this is for educational purposes only. I'm not a doctor. It's just what I've heard. Oh, ads are suddenly popping up. You usually after around the 1 hour mark, we're at the 48-minute mark. An advertisement will pop up around the 1 hour mark. Let's see. Hi, Bebop. Welcome. The gangstalkers use smart meters for V2K and remote neuromonitoring. And it's certainly possible because when I moved here to Jackson County, Kentucky, I contacted the the energy company, and I asked to have my smart meter removed and replaced with an analog. And they said that they can't do that, and that if I remove the smart meter, I would not have any electricity. Hi, Melanie. Yes, the tourmaline. They damaged so much of this stuff, though. I had some beautiful crystals that I purchased in New Jersey, and by the time they got here, the ones that did actually get here, they damaged them all. And these were costly, some that I received as gifts. These people are ruthless. They actually dent. You know, I'll buy a case of cat food, and they will actually take the time to dent every can. Even if the cans arrived A-OK, they will take the time to mark every can of cat food, dent it. I bought a Faraday cage, whatever, for my smart meter, which the criminals have taken the liberty of crushing, denting. Like there's nothing sacred. Nothing I buy that's sacred. You know, like the panties that they punctured a hole in the front and then another pair cut the sides, that I had to throw out 2 pair of panties last week. Yes, they can surge your outlets to burn electric. Yes, they absolutely do that. They do. Like I have actually plugged something into my outlet, and then when I pulled it out because I try to save electricity, the outlet plug would feel really hot, like they're trying to cause an electrical fire. Yes, the Faraday for the smart meter, you can get one for I think about $35, $30. It depends on where you buy it. Yes, the electric bill definitely increases. I mean, I turn off a couple of circuit breakers in the back of my house. Oh yes, the refrigerator. In this happened in New Jersey. I bought one of those, you know, the EMF readers, and in New Jersey, my refrigerator would start to make these weird noises, and then it would register like totally at the possibly the highest possible range on the meter. And then later, it would go back down to normal. And then here in Kentucky, all of a sudden my refrigerator starts to make these weird noises. And I do not have an ice maker. So it's not like there's ice being made in my refrigerator. Does anybody know why they mess with your refrigerator and AC? Well, I think they're damaging food for sure. The refrigerator takes up a lot of electricity. It's usually in an area where you frequent. Like my refrigerator is literally behind me. Yes, Max, you have to pay to get tortured. I agree with you, Miss Reed. Everyone needs to downsize and minimize because it's not stopping. So if you feed less, then you get more power. You get by less support. And Melanie says that they know what we value most and think they harm through material things. It's a psyop. Well, I can't even show you some of the things that they've done to my cats, both in New Jersey and here in Kentucky. It's totally off the charts. It's very possible, Joe. It's very possible that the noises in the refrigerator, the humming, perhaps are frequencies that are meant to cause a disturbance. I mean, it certainly interrupts what we're doing because you can hear it. Normally, a refrigerator is quiet. So when it starts making those noises, it gains your attention. It's just another interruption. Pretty much everything that they do is designed to cause a disturbance. Whether it's the hang up phone calls, the prank phone calls, when you're in the middle of doing something important, thinking, like the other day, I'm in my house, I'm reorganizing things, and I hear people outside, talking to each other, revving up their engines and stuff, and I chose to ignore them at first, but it was so persistent that was lasting longer than it normally would if they were just driving by. And that's when I went outside and I see my two neighbors, hanging out there, one with the red pickup truck and then the white Tahoe that makes noise all by itself anyway. Just hanging out there, brighting me. Hi, Hispania. Welcome, welcome. Yes, they're studying the effects and susceptibility. I mean, everybody says, well, don't let them get to you. Don't react to what they do. How do you not react to your pets being tortured from the inside out? Joe says, deep inside, I think the perps look like gremlins from the 80s horror flick. I can't say that my local neighbors, they don't look like gremlins. No, they don't look like gremlins. The one thing that you can do, I mean, I did it when I moved in here. And it's mostly because when I moved into my house, I had no appliances. I had to buy them, and it took a long time for me to get them. Is in the place of my refrigerator, I I purchased these peel and stick noise deafening panels on Amazon, and they're the kinds of panels that are used in recording studios sometimes. So I have those on the floor underneath my refrigerator. I can't say whether or not it helps. Carrie says, the next time someone blocks me on the interstate and tries to slow me down, we're going to play a round of a bumper cars because I'm not scared of them and they know it. That's not a good idea. That is not a good idea. But for all of you guys, I mean, I found a YouTube channel. I don't even know how I found. Oh, I know how I found it. They posted something when I posted the video about Michaela Rains. Evidently, this YouTube creator subscribed to Save a Fox, and it's called. Let me just look it up because this channel creates V2K and remote neural monitoring blockers. Let's see, 1 second if I could find it. It's called, here, it's called, let me get it. I'll type it in the chat. So for instance, a month ago, this YouTube creator created a 22-hour long video. 22 hours. V2K brain computer disable. And then 2 months ago, a 5-hour video on V2K brain computer interface. And then there's one hacking RF frequencies, V2K frequency counter. So you might want to check. I'm not affiliated with this channel at all, but the frequencies are pretty good. And I like the fact that he created one that's 22 hours long. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see. Amy says, my warfare with technology was worse in Scottsdale, Arizona. Here it's not so bad. Oh, yes, Blue Scales. Oh, I'm so glad you know about that channel, SDL. Connor says, we can download frequency sounds such as isochronic pulses. I'm not familiar with that. I've listened to the binaural beats and the handpan music, which I like, but I found that when I'm playing this music at night, like to go to sleep, the criminals will disconnect the Wi-Fi, and therefore the music stops. So I'm not hearing it anymore, and then they completely drain the battery on my phone. Let's see. Yes, they want to set you up to react for an arrest or for a psych reevaluation. Let's see. Quantis, quant, quantophacy? What? How do you pronounce quantisophy channel? Quantifacy. All right, let me write that down. I'm not familiar with that one. eloquent. Let's see, you're on antipsychotic injections because bebop. Bebop, if you're having voices, it's not naturally occurring. Are you a targeted person? Do you believe that you're targeted? Isochronic pulses. Yes, we've got a couple of people here from New Mexico. Hi, Battle. Welcome. So I wanted to get back to, there was a question earlier about safe places to move. It depends again on, hi, Michael, the messenger. Welcome, welcome. Depends on what you can afford because certain cities and states are more costly than others. And it's better to move to an area where the education level is higher and the cost of living, or I should say the population, observe the population of the area that you're looking to move to. Are these educated people? Are these independent people? Are there a lot of single people there, married people there? I have to tell you that, hi, Fred, welcome. When the alert notifications are sent to maids and public park cleaners, you realize it's a clown investigation. Oh, absolutely. You move to a small town. So do you find it different? Your targeting differs in a small town than a larger one? Yes, the Schumann residence. I have listened to those. Welcome, Fred. Hi, Krista. Yes, I did not research this area when I was moving to Kentucky. I was looking in completely different areas. And then what happened, and this is, it's all carefully orchestrated, that my house finally sold fairly quickly. I had an offer on the house by a cop. Of course, that was all prearranged because he didn't even look at the house. He was in my house for literally 3 or 4 minutes. He did not even go into the backyard. Um, I had to find a place to live, and unsurprisingly, a lot of the places that I bookmarked had either sold, went off the market, couldn't contact people, so I had to look elsewhere. I was in a pinch for finding something, and of course, this property popped up. It was reasonably priced. It had a lot of land, which is what I wanted, and I put an offer on it, and it was accepted like right away. I did not research this area at all. I've only researched other areas of Kentucky, never this area. That was the biggest mistake of my life. Biggest mistake of my life. My whole family gets on my case about Eastern Kentucky. They hate that I'm living here. My daughter keeps saying, "Well, I told you so. Like I told you to not move there, but you didn't listen to me." My mother did not want me to move here. Yes, you found big cities to be better. Rural, low class folks are brutal. I absolutely agree. I will never move to a small rural town again. Never. Nope. Nope. These people, they're all psychopaths, narcissists, greedy. They're all interrelated somehow. They're all in with the sheriff. And literally, I'm telling you, like my neighbor, she's a nutcase. She's a total nutcase. I even had somebody, I guess who somebody was working here who knew her from a while ago and said, "Oh yeah, her nickname is Crazy." I won't say her name. Crazy, blah blah blah. You hate living in the Boise area. The stalking was fierce. High number. Do you know who lived in Boise? Um, she's no longer with us. Karen Romero. She was a nurse, and she actually loved. She would talk about. She would rave about living in Idaho, but she was targeted, very heavily targeted there. Well, look at what happened in Lecter County. You got a sheriff shooting a judge on camera. I mean, what is he thinking? And then, everybody thinks he's just such a wonderful guy and it was all the judge's fault. It's nuts. Hi, Nicholas. Welcome. And so Nicholas agrees. I got in a small city, in a small town, and the small community was way, way worse. They didn't even have to be sneaky about it. Exactly. And the gossip is definitely worse. Gossip. Yes, Robert Duncan lived in around the Boise, Idaho area also. There are actually other targeted people living in there, in that area. Carrie says, I live in a small town and I know who I can and cannot trust here. So Bebop says, my voices come from interdimensional frequencies from experimental military research at CERN and HARP. How do you know that? How can you say that for certain? Melanie says, I tried to move and find a house that hadn't had any offers in over 4 months. I went to look at that afternoon and was ready to make a full offer, and then they got 5 offers. Isn't that interesting? The owner, so spooked, took it off the market. It depends on the town and the state. Well, Manalapan, New Jersey is like an upper kind of middle class neighborhood. All the people take really good care of their properties. They have houses. They have small lots of land, like a half an acre, quarter of an acre, half an acre, maybe an acre of yard. They're fairly close together. Very high property taxes. A lot of ordinances. And even as a targeted person there, if my perp neighbor broke an ordinance, it didn't matter. They were going to get fined or told to redo it. It's the same thing with lost dogs in New Jersey. There's zero tolerance for stray dogs there. They're going to pick up your dog and take it to the shelter. If you want your dog back, you will be paying a fine and a return fee from the shelter. I remember when I lived there, an owner just like the dog ran off, like the leash got out of her hand. The dog is running down the street. Somebody reported her, and they literally fined her because her dog had run away from her. Yes, the educational level is very important because I'll say that my neighbors in New Jersey, the ones that I lived next door to, they were both highly educated. They had the nicest kids, not the perps that they moved in. I mean, they eventually got co-opted to ignore me and maybe do other things. I don't know. But they were highly educated, well-spoken. They kept their house nice, and their kids were wonderful. They had great kids. My neighbor across the street, master's degrees. The son was in a doctorate program, highly educated. I was friends with them. When I became targeted and didn't know what it was about, I remember him telling me, he said, I don't know why somebody would break into your house. You're the nicest person I've ever known. And the criminals were watching my interaction with them. And shortly thereafter, those neighbors stopped talking to me. They didn't harass me, they didn't bother me. These are educated people, but they ignored me. So the men in cheap suits, the private contractors or the fake FBI people, they were going door to door in New Jersey, but they didn't come to my house. Being around intelligent gang stalkers is massively important. You don't want to have the low class street trash attacking you. Let's see. Yeah, the West Coast is very expensive. SDL says the Freemasonic witchcraft is something we can't forget or overlook. Many of us get the witchcraft. I get a lot of witchcraft here, and it's not covert anymore. It's completely overt. Pieces of triangle glass, little bundles of witchcraft, the lining of my property in branches, the Y branches pointing in different directions. But I got witchcraft in New Jersey too. It took me a while to figure out what it was they were doing. But then when I realized what they were doing, I would just literally spend hours picking this stuff up. It is just so much of it. Yes, I get the tinnitus all day long also. Yes. Well, see, the difference is, like my neighbors in New Jersey, they actually worked. They had good jobs. They worked. Maybe some of the wives didn't work, but like my neighbors' wives, they worked. Everybody worked. They had great jobs. You'd have to in order to be able to afford the property taxes alone, or a $500,000 house. And now the houses are going for close to 1 million in the same um, block on the same block that I moved from. Many of the houses are going to close to $1 million in 6 years. So no, these are not people that are going to get involved in harassing another person. They just kind of ignore you. That's what they did with me. Leslie Joe says, just now I went to do the laundry. Neighbors across the street synchronized with me. And then when I got back home, they did the same thing. SCL says, Lorraine, remember, mops, wops, pops, lops. Yes. So there's the cops, criminals on patrol, right? Lops, the losers on patrol. The mops, the morons and matrons on patrol. And remember now, we've got DOPS, the dogs on patrol. We've got DOPS now, the dogs on patrol. The pops, well, there's so many for pops. Predators on patrol, perpetrators on patrol, pedos on patrol. The wops are the witches on patrol. Yes, the agent dog walkers. Yes, those are the DOPS, the dogs on patrol. Yes. And we can go through the alphabet. I haven't created. I started to a list of all the letters of the alphabet and see how we can use an acronym against the stalkers. Like let's see if we have SOPs, S, the sadists on patrol. Hi, Matson. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we were having conversations about where the best places to live would be, shielding materials, etc. Oh, Joe, I have the exact same thing. You probably have a cloaked person. I have the exact same thing, and it's usually a cloaked individual. Amy says, I can't imagine surviving this for another 10 years. We can only pray because the entire country is being assaulted. We have so much going on in the country. Even if you're not like a targeted person, I mean, there's so much alarming news every day. There was an explosion in the Bronx in New York. Then there's that explosion of the plane in Louisville, Kentucky. Volcanoes erupting, hurricanes, earthquakes, just weird stuff that it's just too much. It's weather warfare. Yes, it's all to keep us in fear. It's trauma based mind control and satanic ritual abuse. And the New Mexico Hispanic says, I read all kinds of crazy comments on Nextdoor from others in the community on a daily basis and wonder if they too are not being targeted. Estiel said, Lorraine, I wonder if underground tornado shelters that were built into the houses in places like Kentucky would alleviate symptoms. I don't know. You know, Kentucky, a lot of Kentucky is karst, a Karst, which allows the massive amounts of water to funnel into these open spaces. But also, I mean, I would imagine that the criminals take advantage of the fact that in Kentucky we are on karst and there are these large open tunnel spaces under a large part of Kentucky. But you always have, like, when you have some underground kind of safe space, you always have to worry about the ground shifting because the ground does shift. I always think that some of the better forms of protection is if you can build something on the side of a mountain that where most of it is buried underground, but there is an entrance exit in the front that you can kind of shield and cover because you really do have to worry about those things underground for water reasons and earth shifting. Let's see. Amy says, I see some scriptures coming to pass, like where it says, the people will say we cannot war against this in the Old Testament. Michael says, my enemies are terrified of me now. Once I overcame fear, no weapon forged against me shall prosper, and no witchcraft formed against me shall prosper. Yeah, we are returning to live in caves. Yeah, like the Flintstones, right? Be fearless because they feed off of it. Yes, yes. It's for me. It's not about fear. It's about being pissed off. I just get like I can literally live in a pissed off state every day of the week when I was not like this in my past life. Hi, Regulus. Welcome, welcome. If we keep the commandments. Melanie says, yes, I'm done and ready to have the divine justice. Regulus has been posting a lot of videos lately that I've been watching. Some really interesting videos. Oh, and by the way, and I did not know this, but effective July of this year, YouTube has now created a new terminology for when we share other people's videos. Let me locate it again. It's called unauthentic. Inauthentic. They don't like sharing other people's videos, even if you have permission. Exactly. I won't even say it, SDL. They're claiming that YouTube creators are supposed to create their own content. And even though there are thousands of YouTube channels, thousands, that are reusing other people's music and content every day on their channel, these reaction videos, I watch them. I'm thinking, how are these people not getting banned? How are they monetized when they just sit there watching somebody else's music, playing somebody else's music, interrupting it once in a while for a commentary, and that's their entire channel? They're not creating anything except listening to somebody else's music and commenting on it. Let's see, Amy says, I don't think it's illegal for police to torture targets, especially protected Freemasonic police. They want you to believe that abnormal is normal, and I rebuke them. Oh, you tried to share something and weren't allowed to. Well, on the video that I posted about the passing of my cat Lotus, on average Joe posted like a really long commentary about what happened to his father's dog, etc. And it was held for review. So I approved it. And then I go back into the video. It was held for review again. It was held for review more than half a dozen times. It would not allow me to post his comment. And then I noticed that 8 comments were held and were not posted to the video. I couldn't understand why. Yeah, I hear you, SDL. And actually, believe it or not, I removed TikTok app from my phone. I have it on my mother's phone, but I haven't looked on TikTok in a couple of weeks. I have not posted there. TikTok has changed ever since its affiliation with Facebook. I didn't say that. Where did you hear that? They just found that the qualified immunity was altered by a clerk? What do you mean by that? Was that a bill, a law? Oh, yes, the battle for your brain. Yes. That's a VRL Serb. I've had a couple of chats with him live that are on my channel. They're on my channel. Let's see. I noticed something strange. If you leave a comment and it won't post, screen record and then try it again and it will post. When you record for accountability, it will. YouTube will stop acting up. Oh, that's interesting. Any of you guys that yeah, I haven't seen Viral. I know that he does a little traveling for work. And I remember the last time we had a chat, he wanted to chat one more time, but he said he wouldn't be available, I guess, for a couple of months. I don't know what kind of work he does or whatever, but he hasn't posted. And then when he was posting, I wasn't receiving any alerts. Oh, okay. You talked to him on and off, and he disappeared 6 months ago. That's about the last time that I think he posted. And we had had two recorded chats that are on both of our channels. And for oh, that's what it is. He's a truck driver and he's busy most of it. That's exactly it. The time that we had our interviews, he had some free time and he did tell me that he was gonna have to work. Thank you for the reminder, Fred. I'm gonna post the name of somebody in the chat of a YouTube creator who is an animal rights activist. And right now, he has been reviewing some videos of these cat deleters, unalivers, that somebody sent him a video about. So he's really a proponent of getting this information out there. I've tried to contact him so many times, but I think my mail is being interfered with. But I just received a response back from him. He says to resend my information. So if any of you guys have issues with your pets that you want to share with somebody who will get the message out there, I will leave his information in the chat. This is his channel. Amy says, I'm angry too, Lorraine. I don't like it at all. I'm a person that likes to love. Michael says, I'll tell you the truth. I've lost everyone, my family, my friends, my band, my job, even my son has been turned against me. God has not abandoned me, though. All I did was tell the truth. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. New Mexico, Hispania. My cat disappeared after giving birth in 2011, and one of her kittens was poisoned in 2022 by the POS landlord. TIs are isolated from family. Don't feel bad being you. They use our kindness to profile us. Yes, Melanie says, Amy, your love obliterates them. Keep loving. And Michael, the messenger, says, I told the truth about the jabs. I was with the trucker. Oh, and I think that most of the people that were with the truckers became targeted. Just as like a lot of the people that during the January 6th thing, they became targeted. A lot of parents become targeted for speaking out at the education meetings. Metallic shielding will hinder their vision into our homes. They're targeting my mouth right now for the last half an hour. Hi, Katie. Welcome. Hi, Vivian. Welcome. Welcome. Would a house with a metal roof be safer? I'm living in a house with a metal roof. My cats are living in a building with a metal roof, and I'm going to tell you what they do. They use radio frequencies to hit the metal roof to cause loud bangs. Oh, hi, Kim. Welcome. I know, I haven't seen Cheryl here. She has been commenting on the videos. Yesterday, she was commenting on the videos yesterday. Yes, the videos with the frequency knocks on the roof, and it's horrible. And you know what? They do it to the chicken coops too. Loud bangs. It's been happening since the day literally I moved into my house. As soon as my cat's building was erected, there are no trees around the building. So they hit it with frequencies all day long. I feel so bad for my cats. Yeah, don't call the paramedics. Don't trust them. Oh, Michael, anytime. I mean, anybody that has a testimony that you'd like for me to read on the channel, you can email me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. com. Katie says, I had to give my cat away to keep her safe. It's so horrible. I've heard that before. Yes, I've heard that, Elsie, that the truckers had their trucks targeted with all kinds of issues. And I would imagine that repairing a truck would be very costly. And, those truckers, they rely on those trucks for work. Yeah, your new battery was drained. Yeah, they love to drain batteries, that's for sure. And the thing is, I thought having my phone in a Faraday bag would protect it. I'll turn it on the airplane mode, fully charged, Wi-Fi turned off, airplane mode, in a Faraday bag, and I'll wake up and it'll be on 1%, totally drained. Yeah, those rigs are huge. Huge. I don't even know how they maneuver them. I know a lot of people have given their pets away to keep them safe. Michael says, I was dying alone in the dark, suffering from heartbreak. But the Lord came and saved me. His voice is like thunder. You need a phone not connected to the internet and earphones that plug in. I know. Save the pigeon. Welcome. It would be so difficult because it depending on how long you've been targeted, there's just so much. But you can do it in parts. Deborah Florian has 13 parts to her West Virginia horror story because it is a nightmare, and you can't easily replay that in your mind to place it in writing. It's years and years of targeting. They tried running them off the road. Oh my goodness. That would have been serious. I mean, all they were doing was trying to help. I hear that Canada is bad for targeting too. Just remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Save the Pigeon says, I think my targeting goes back to when I was a child. I'm 36 now. What state are you in? More and more people who are recognizing that they're targeting are, in hindsight, saying, I think I've been targeted since I'm younger, a child. That you may have grown up into a family that was targeted. And of course, all these criminals, they have your birth chart. They know when you're born what your potential is. Your mom's family was all military, Navy. And that seems to be a perpetual theme when I hear testimonies from people growing up in a military family, the mother, the father, uncle, um, military ex-spouse. And divorce seems to be a trigger for getting into this program, particularly for women. Hi, SCL. Well, oh, you're welcome. He's off to bed. Great chat. Growing every week. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night's sleep. The key words are Western and political, banking, IMF, World Banks, UN. Michael says, I'm sharing my testimony so that anyone listening can also overcome. Love the Lord and God with all your heart and soul and cry out to Him, and He will save you. Good night, Melanie. We're going to end the live stream in about 10-15 minutes. Before you leave, remember to hit the thumbs up. No weapon formed against us will prosper. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie hopes everybody has a good night and stays safe. Good night. Father is the only way to peace. Pray. Where's the thumb? I don't know. I'm not on your end. If for some reason you can't find the thumbs up in the chat now, when the live stream ends, it will take a few hours for it to actually be posted on YouTube. But you can, go back and hit the thumbs up then. Katie says, I have heard for the second time that the criminals tell your neighbors that you're a prostitute and just not caught yet if you're a woman. Oh, well, yeah, I'm a 67-year-old woman. There is nobody here that I would remotely even consider having sex with. Let's see. I am who I am is the best backup that you will ever need, and his eyes are everywhere. I have to say, a lot of targeted people, they haven't had sex in years. Let's face it, guys. I mean, maybe you younger guys are getting it more. There ain't nothing going on here, I'll tell you right now. And as a targeted person, there's a good reason to stay celibate. No honeypots. The only honeypots, they throw cats on my property. They're like, oh, she'll fall for this one. Fred's like celibate for a decade. Another celibate since 2013. Well, I've been celibate since New Jersey. That's all I can say about that. They could not even find a honeypot around here. A honeypot, honey trap. That's why they send me cats. They're like, oh, let's send her that cute looking one. Oh, look at that one. He's friendly. Let's send her that one. Vivian says single plus celibate equals sanity. That's true. That's true. Yes, I've got honeypot cats. They're the only ones that are having sex around here, I'll tell you. Oh, and probably the possums and the raccoons too. Because I'll tell you, these possums that have been on my porch, they look like they're growing in size, which is not a good thing. They've been stealing all the eggs from Foxy. And I don't have a lot of egg production now. It's like it's late in the year. Two of my hens were snatched up. Elsie says loud bangs like gun blasts in my house a couple of times. Yeah, that's right. You have all the love that you need. Sometimes the building shifts in the cold. Oh, your TV pops even when it's turned off. Maybe it's a good idea to unplug it and see what happens. Steve the Pigeon says, I'm in England in the UK, but I've been targeted in Scotland too. I only think I could have a relationship with a target. Someone that isn't a target is going to think I'm crazy for just speaking the truth. That's a good point. And when you're in a relationship, any kind of relationship, you want to be able to bond with that person in a way where you can communicate and share your experiences. And honestly, the experiences that we have are not easy to share with non targeted people. Oh, so it happens even when it's unplugged. Your heater turns off and sounds like someone is walking on the roof. You know what? New Mexico, Hispania, you'd be surprised the people that don't think you're crazy. You're absolutely right. You want to know why? Because I am an active poster on other people's videos that are not allegedly targeted. And, I'll watch videos on YouTube of things that are happening to other people, other creators or whatever. I mean, it happened that there was a YouTube creator who is a homesteader who cares for chickens. She had something horrible happen to her where she got on stage and she suddenly started panicking. And she's been a speaker about her chickens. She gets hired to speak about chickens, and she suddenly froze. She couldn't speak. She got ill. She got nervous, anxiety. And I just posted a response. I said, you know what? It sounds like you were specifically targeted. I told her that there are devices out there that could do that to you. And I can't tell you how many people hit the thumbs up on my comments. So people are not as dumb as you think out there. A lot of people know what's going on. They might not be talking about it. Vegan target for you, Battle says. Your dad asked you where the strange noises are coming from. Well, when my mom was alive, she knew what was going on. She knew the way I kept my house. I would show her what happened, and she's like, somebody's getting in here doing this. It was my mother. I was on the phone with her who said they have to be getting in some way other than your front door. She said it has to be by a window. And I'm thinking, I never open these windows. But lo and behold, while I'm on the phone with her, the downstairs window in the addition of my house, windows I never open, was unlocked. This is how they were getting into my house. So check your windows. High five. Welcome. We're going to be shutting down the live stream in about 10 minutes, but welcome. Let's see. If I had to name a list of all the tactics used on me, it would be impossible. It is impossible. It is impossible. Because some of what happens, some of the tactics, it's so traumatic that you forget. Well, I'll bet temporarily, because that's what trauma does. You know, it will bury a memory. And of course, they want you to bury your memories because it causes more trauma. But eventually, it resurfaces. They go through the eyes and come through the garage or attic, the eaves and the attic. You get sirens by 5:40 a.m. to make the dogs. Hi, Nicholas. Welcome. Cutter says, I get demonic visits every so often, and my whole kitchen door was shaking like crazy a few months back. I could feel the house shake. Katie says they cut through the attic from the neighbor's house next door. I could imagine that that's a possibility. I've seen photos. A targeted person sent me photos of their attic, and then pointed to something in the attic that didn't belong to them. That's evidently somebody who had been in the attic left this stuff behind. I think it was a flashlight. So yeah, they do get into your attic. They got into my attic in New Jersey. They tore out all my insulation and then attempted to put it back in a horrible way. They ruffled through all of my boxes of books and stuff. I don't have an attic here. I have a vaulted ceiling with no attic. But they've absolutely been inside however they can maneuver up there because I hear things like right before I'm going to fall asleep. Bebop says they can shapeshift into bed bugs. Sixth dimensional insecticide. I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before, but there's a book that I have on demonic possession, a targeted person, and she posts photos of the shape shifting where the person's face actually changes and the eyes get black. After they work on a house, you're surprised if it's still standing. And right now, they are targeting a tooth. They've been targeting a tooth in my mouth. These criminals, they're like non-stop. Demonic possession can appear as shape-shifting. Oh yes, and of one of the recent testimonies that was posted, um, stated that his brother appeared to shapeshift. That the brother was increasing in size and then decreasing in size. And that's when I did a little research on it, that hydrogel can do that. Oh, thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate that. It's time for the doors to start being slammed. Hi, Annie. Welcome. We're actually at the end. We're at the end of the live stream. It started at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to thank everybody for joining in. And just remember that it takes a while for YouTube to go through this for it to appear live. But for those of you who have been in the chat, you will be able to locate it. So anybody that hasn't hit the thumbs up, if you can hit the thumbs up, and kind of just says, the Bible says, Jesus cast out demons from people. And one time the demons people would come back to normal. Thank you so much, Conradus. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the good comments and information that you provide. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to sign off. Thank you, Max, Vivian, Conradus, Elsie, Annie, SCL, who left already, Steve the Pigeon, Vivian, Bebop, Battle, Katie, Mr. E, New Mexico, Hispania, Unaverage George, Joe, if you're still here. Thank you for moderating. I appreciate it. And there's my little alarm. So I'm going to say good night. And we're going to end the live stream now. Thank you, everybody.